What is the worst permanent life decision that you've ever made? I decided to break up a fight. It was a success at first, but then some guy came from behind and tackled me. I was stronger than him and gave a few good ones, but he was obviously a trained fighter. He put my leg in some type of jiu-jitsu hold and tore my anterior cruciate ligament. I was an uninsured student at the time. 10 years later, I still cannot play any sports and I have to be extremely cautious in the snow. Edit. The fight I tried to break up turned into a brawl between two groups of people. The school ended up getting involved and kicked 3 people out, including the guy who ruined my knee. Suing crossed my mind, but I wasn't supposed to be at the bar and I was on a full-ride scholarship. I was more worried about my scholarship being taken away. Happened to my buddy too. Tried to stop a fight, guy who he pulled off put him in an arm lock and dislocated his elbow. Took him 6 months to recover, but thankfully he has all his mobility back. When I was 20 or so I was poor, my family was poor, and things got really bad that year. I decided I could make some quick money flipping stolen items, buy cheap, sell for a profit. I was an idiot and got busted. I got a felony for it, and 7 years of probation. Now a male 28, can't get a fucking job anywhere, and life is nearly pointless at this juncture. I've been on the good side of the law since that all went down, and with each month that passes where I wonder if I'll eat tomorrow or have a roof over my head, I think more and more I could solve this by getting back into crime. It's a vicious cycle, and I'd rather be shot in the mouth than go through all of it again. I have no clue how I'll ever get my fucking life back on track. I tried to climb the highest mountain in my country. My father took me and my brother there with some friends. The problem is that I have sickle cell anemia, and due to the low oxygen I just couldn't go further, but I did anyway. Bad idea. My spleen and appendix almost burst, and I had to wait for 24 hours in agonizing pain before a helicopter rescued my ass. Had to get my spleen and appendix removed. And now I can't do any hard exercise ever. Luckily those are about the 2 least important organs in the body. I didn't take brushing or flossing seriously, and now a bunch of my teeth are in pretty bad shape. When you're young, you think you're invincible. As a dentist, get your shit fixed now. Those $100 fillings turn into 2,000 root canal and crown very quickly. And off I go to brush my teeth. Missing the party that Bill Gates threw when I was in college before Microsoft took off because I got high. I was gonna hang with Bill Gates, but I got high. We could have been best mates, but I got high. I don't work for Microsoft, and I know why. Because I got high, because I got high, because I got high. I decided to try and be a parkour expert. My shitty coordination didn't kill my motivation. Until one evening, I was at a local park, and decided to do a massive wall jump that failed epically. I fell on top of a jabbed surface and tore my intestines. Due to this injury, I now have a permanent colostomy at the ripe age of 16. Mistakes, man, they suck. Decided to not socialize when I was younger, didn't go to a 4-year college, and I work full-time. Now I have no life. Bought a penis ring to have sex with my ex-girlfriend. The first, and only time I used it, I set the ring's size way too small, basically choked my penis from lack of circulating blood. Completed sex, but the next morning my penis was shriveled, like half its normal flaccid size, and looked like it was covered in really tiny veins everywhere. Went to the ER and it turns out that I caused ischemia in parts of my penis, burst a few blood vessels, and basically destroyed my ability to get an erection for the rest of my life. I was only in my 20s. This happened 3 years ago, and my ex broke up with me shortly afterwards. I can still get a semi-erection, maybe 20% of what it was previously if I use Viagra. It gets engorged somewhat, but doesn't get up like previously. ED causes a lot of stress, anxiety, worry, etc. no matter what age you are. The worst part was that I really couldn't confide in anybody what was the source of my stress. My parents especially could see something was wrong whenever I visited, but I just told them that I was upset because my girlfriend broke up with me. Choosing a degree for the money, not for what I'm interested in. Now I'm stuck with a major that I don't even like. I did the exact opposite. Now I have the stress of a bunch of debt and a shit job over my head all day. I say you chose the lesser of 2 evils. Volunteering to go to war. I didn't even have to go, could have finished my contract out and never have went. I feel like it cost me my sanity and happiness most of the time. Definitely took more out of me than I ever expected it to. I don't need a condom, I'll just pull out, 19 years old me. Despite MTV's efforts to glamorize teenage parents, it really sucks. It's hard trying to raise someone when you yourself don't even have direction in your life. You're already poor, kids are expensive, and you alienate yourself from your friends because no 19 to 21-year-old really wants to hang out with you and your kid on a Friday night. You drop out of school because you can't handle working 40 hours a week, being a parent, and trying to be a full-time student, or even a part-time student. All this being said, I love my son to death and he is probably the best thing that happened to me. Without him, I truly believe I would have drank or partied myself into a really bad place. Took me a lot longer to get back on my feet, but 12 plus years later I'm finally back in school and really happy with my life. Tattoo with my wife's name. She got mine too. Married 6 years at the time, blissfully in love. Lasted another 8. Now I just want to chop my arm off. Chop hers off too, swap arms, problem solved. Buying that World of Warcraft subscription and game in 2004. It was some of the most memorable times I've ever had in a game, but I kept prioritizing it over real life. I spent my entire childhood just playing this game. And now looking back, I can't remember anything from my life except World of Warcraft. Screwing around in high school and not going to college. I'm not saying college is necessary for everyone, but I think I would be in a much better place overall if I had gone. I have a decent corporate job that I am very good at. I've been employed by the same company for 10 years. My life is not horrible, but the ceiling is getting so low that I have to crouch in my cubicle. I've seen enough advice animal memes on the front page to know that the high school kids are out for summer. If you are reading this, please take my genuine advice. Just tough it out, do well in school, and get a scholarship. Your schoolwork should really be your main focus in life. It will suck. You may not get to go do the things your friends are doing. I know this. I chose to have fun, and now I don't have much fun anymore. I have close friends that are now fresh new lawyers, paramedics on their way to becoming doctors, a Wall Street broker, and even an astrophysicist. And I am already 10 years into a middling career that can't ever really make me happy. I'm not saying my life is over and this is it for me. I can go to college in my spare time, my employer will even help pay for it. I am pretty good at taking pictures, I can see a spark there, maybe something will come of that as well. What I'm saying is I would have much preferred, in retrospect, if I had just buckled down and worked hard and gone to college right after high school when learning was still fresh and I still remembered a bit about high-level algebra. The ability to learn at the rate you currently do goes away. Use it while you have it. Now I'll have to relearn a lot at do schoolwork around a full-time job. Smoking. I have done irreversible damage to my body. For no reason other than to get a nicotine fix for a problem I created for myself. God, I was stupid. I quit 2 years ago and I still think I want to smoke on a weekly basis, but I know better. Breaking up with that awesome girl in college because I wasn't ready to settle down. Been trying to find a girl that awesome ever since, or remotely close. My dad called me and told me he was dying. He was in hospital with cancer. I asked the nurse if he was and she said no. Anyway, I tried to get to see him, but my brother had my car and I couldn't get anyone to take me and he died late that night, alone. If I knew, obviously I would have walked, hitchhiked or crawled to that hospital, but I didn't, and 14 years later I still can't forgive myself, and it haunts me every day. Mine is inaction. I should have played an extra sport in high school and I should have created a local nonprofit organization for kids with Tourette's syndrome, which I have and therefore relate to. If I had done both of those, I know I could have gotten a full ride to my dream college, which would have then allowed for my 2 brothers and sister to for sure go to college without my parents going so far into debt. Then my parents wouldn't have been so stressed, which would have made home life easier, and my siblings would have a much easier time in their lives. My inaction took a huge toll on my family. I still regret it to this day, and I wish I would have taken the opportunity to not be lazy, to play the extra sport, go the extra mile. Not just sit home, relax, and expect it to all come to me without lifting a finger. Inaction is just as permanent as action. I have a large birthmark on one side of my face, and when I was around 8 years old, When my father was still alive and we had a decent income, my mother informed me of a simple procedure and asked if I wanted to have the birthmark removed. I said no because it gave me character. Now I have no money to get rid of the birthmark, and I have great psychological problems because of my appearance. I regret every day that I didn't do it when I was a kid. Not breaking up with my ex-wife while we were in college. One night we were doing laundry, and we were right on the verge of breaking up. We almost broke up, but I backed down. We ended up getting married and had a couple of kids. My life is very fucked up because of her now 15 years down the road, but I have 2 wonderful kids from the relationship that would not exist if we had broken up that one night. Funny how so much of my life seems to pivot around that one night and that one decision. Without making the decision I made, I would not have my kids. But my life would not be fucked. I think about that night a lot. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.